Epistemology is the study of the origins, development, and limits of human knowledge from a philosophical perspective. We all discuss knowledge, including philosophers. But what exactly is knowledge? Before I continue, we are going to have an informal debate as a form of activity. I will therefore divide the class into two. So I will just group you randomly. Okay? Miss Diana, Miss Marian, Miss Beatrice, and Miss Faith, affirmative side. Miss Abigail, Miss Grace, and Miss Tricia, negative side. The proposition is, are all knowledge supposed to be freely available to all? Here's our mechanics for our activity. Before we start, I am going to give each team an opportunity to discuss their argument as a group. You may contact your group members through Messenger, video call, or another Gmeet room. Okay? Para po maintindihan ng lahat, yung ginawa ko pong random group, di po ba yun ay affirmative and negative side. Yung grupo na yon, kailangan magsagawa sila ng sarili nilang meeting through Messenger, video call, or another Gmeet room. Para magkaintindihan po sila or magkaintindihan kayo kung paano nyo ba mapaghati-hati yung mga task na napag-usapan ninyo para i-present dito sa ating klase mamaya. Then I will give each team a set amount of time to present their point of view. Each team will present their arguments after each other, starting from the affirmative. Up to 2 speakers from each team should take the floor during the speeches. The argument of both speakers should not exceed a total of 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, 45 seconds average per speaker. Any team who goes over the allotted time will be cut off. Okay, para maintindihan ulit ang lahat. Yung ginawa ko pong random group, affirmative and negative side, ang kailangan lamang po nilang gawin after nila mapag-usapan ang kanilang mga task, ay mag-present po sila dito sa ating klase. Nang may oras sila na 1 minute and 30 seconds. Kaya kada member sa inyo ay makakapagsalita ng 45 seconds. 1 minute and 30 seconds for affirmative and 1 minute and 30 seconds for the negative side. And tigpo 45 seconds po kayo kada magsasalita. Kapag kayo po ay nag-exceed doon sa oras na yon, ay ika-cut off na po natin dahil hindi na makakapagsalita yung others. Okay? No member of a team can speak twice until all members have had an opportunity to speak. After all teams have presented, we are going to vote on which team made the best argument. Is it clear? All right, I'll be giving you 15 minutes to discuss your arguments. All right, class, let us start our tag team debate with the affirmative side.
Good day, classmates. We in our group agree that all knowledge should be freely accessible to everyone. Before my teammate presents our arguments, I will first state how we define the terms in the proposition. Knowledge shall refer to any piece of information that can bring forth positive changes, such as innovation and technological advancement. Any information, therefore, that does not give positive outcomes, such as false information, is not knowledge and should not be freely accessible. Freely accessible means that one can learn and use knowledge without being hindered by ethical or financial barriers, like paywalls or tuition fees. And with that, I give Marianne the floor. Good day, classmates. We in our group agree that all knowledge should be freely accessible to everyone. Before my teammate presents our arguments, I will first state how we define the terms in the proposition. Knowledge shall refer to any piece of information that can bring forth positive changes, such as innovation and technological advancement. Any information, therefore, that does not give positive outcomes, such as false information, is not knowledge and should not be freely accessible. Freely accessible means that one can learn and use knowledge without being hindered by ethical or financial barriers, like paywalls or tuition fees. And with that, I give Marianne the floor.
Thank you. We believe that knowledge should be freely accessible because everyone has the potential to use it to achieve something great. We use William Tom Wombe's story as an example. When he was 14, he read from a book that windmills are used to generate electricity and spent months designing a windmill for his village from scratch. On the other hand, the inaccessibility of knowledge leads people to rely on unverified sources of information, which may lead to harmful consequences and ways of thinking. This is our argument for the affirmative. We open the floor to the negative side.
Thank you to the affirmative team for stating your arguments. Our team disagrees with the proposition mainly because discovering knowledge is not cheap. The people involved in discovering knowledge invested a lot of time, money, and energy to establish their ideas as fact. These people deserve compensation for their labor, and since right now there is no systematic tool to ensure their compensation other than money, knowledge should not be free. Upon hearing your speech, specifically how you define knowledge, we develop more concerns about the issue, which my teammate will now explain.
Thank you, Ms. Abigail. Since knowledge, by definition, has to contribute to positive change, it follows that any given individual's sensitive personal information counts as knowledge because online companies use this to create better experiences for users. This is an advancement, a positive change. Additionally, the spread of harmful rumors and media online has pressured social media companies to improve their rules on what content can be shared and the system to enforce them. This is also an advancement. Does the affirmative team agree that personal information and harmful conspiracies be freely accessible to everyone?
We thank the negative side for expressing their concerns. Your main argument is actually something our team anticipated from you. Our response to that is that a mandate implies a system. Should knowledge be required to be freely accessible, the government or whatever authority implements this would have the measures in place to keep scientists, scholars, and inventors fed. It should follow that whoever contributes to the collective knowledge pool get access to whatever good things arise from their ideas by virtue alone. Ms. Faith, do you have anything to add?
There are a few things. Firstly, we have to agree with the negative team's point that sensitive personal information may be considered knowledge in certain contexts. There may be a need to access people's personal details, but if doing so will result in an overall positive outcome, why not allow it? Additionally, the harmful content the other team speaks of obviously does more harm than good. While they did make a point that misinformation pressures online spaces to be safer for users, the result of safety is a direct counterattack to the problem. It doesn't produce a net positive, it only neutralizes the negative. If false information and harmful media did not exist, we would not have had to invest resources into making online spaces safer in the first place. That concludes our argument. We give the floor back to the negative side.
Once again, we thank the affirmative side for saying their piece. We accept the argument they made about the proposition implying a system. We see that knowledge being freely accessible does not mean that the proponents of concept and ideas are not compensated. However, we still have a few concerns. We are skeptical about putting sensitive personal information up for the taking, as this may eventually lead to social unrest. People can break from the pressure of being observed at any or every moment of their lives. And we cannot forget about the rich players. Whatever positive outcome providing access to personal information can provide might be offset by a consequence we do not anticipate. Now, on the matter on harmful information, it is clear that even if it did more harm than good, an advancement in technology still come out of it. It is still therefore counts as knowledge by definition. This is a sign that how the affirmative side define the terms is faulty and compromises their position. With that, our speech has concluded. Thank you for listening.
Thank you everyone for participating. You have all done well in presenting your arguments and acting professionally towards each other. To the affirmative side, I commend you for anticipating the argument of the negative side. This shows that you really try to challenge your own stance on the issue. Arguments work best when they cover the potential loopholes in your opinion. I also noticed that you cite a concrete example. Was it about Canva? Examples like this can solidify your argument, but also run the risk of making it an appeal to emotion. Overall, your delivery was up to standards. To the negative side, I appreciate you challenging the definition set by the affirmative side. That's generally a very difficult thing because it places the burden of disproving it on you. You did just by citing the examples, such as the sensitive personal information and harmful media. While your delivery was solid, you also had a weak argument that was easy resolved by the affirmative side. Next time, you should anticipate the ways your ideas can be disproved. So know how to defend yourself. With that, let us get to the votes.